So here's a quick and easy way to make the new Batman title animation. First thing you gotta do is open After Effects, type in your text. The color of the text does not matter, what matters is the font. You have to choose your font very carefully. Choose a font with sharp edges rather than curved ones, because first of all, it's gonna be harder to animate. You can see in the teaser as well, they do not animate the B because it has curved edges. Now right click on your text layer, go to create and click on create shapes with text layer. Now this will give you a new layer with all your text converted into separate shape layers, and each shape layer will have its own path. Now you can click on the stopwatch on the path property of your shape layer and animate your shapes as it is done in the trailer. Create a keyframe at the default position of your shape layers and move that keyframe forward into the timeline. Now go back to the first frame and select points on your shapes and move them above or below as per your text. You can also add more points on your shape layer by using pen tool by pressing G, so you can create this bat ear shape on the alphabet. Now right click on your shape layer and pre-compose it. Now duplicate your pre-comp and on the second layer add a Gaussian blur effect. Increase the amount on your Gaussian blur until you see those shapes overlap and create this slimy reveal sort of effect. But what this will do is add some feather on your edges, and we don't want that. Now to remove this, we'll add a matte choker effect. We will not use the gray level softness in the matte choker effect because it will defeat the purpose of removing the feather. So we're gonna play with the choke matte value until we get a desired effect. When you get your desired effect, keyframe the choke value to fade back to the original shapes, so we get the finished text in the end of our animation. Now the text part of our animation is done. We'll now work on the background. We'll create a new composition, call it background. First thing we need is a texture for the background, for which we're going to use a grunge texture. Bring in your texture in the composition and use a tint effect to turn it red. If the effect is very powerful, I would suggest you use a tritone effect. Next thing we need to do is make our Batarang, which I'm 80% sure they use a 3D render of a Batarang, but we're doing quick and easy, so we're going to use a 2D image. So I'm going to do a Google search for a 2022 Batarang because, they change it every time they make a new movie. I found this image on Google. I'll bring it into my composition. Now this image is very low resolution. So what I'm going to do is create a mask around this image using a black solid. I'll add a different grunge texture and apply it to the Batarang. Use an extract effect to get rid of really dark parts of the grunge and use the levels to add a bit of contrast. I'll pre-compose the layer and add a bevel alpha effect to add that fake 3D look. I'm using a light direction from below and using the red color for the light color. Now this Batarang looks a little boring. So what I'm going to do is go back into the pre-comp. I'll download a bat skeleton image and use a puppet tool and use it to roughly match the skeleton to the Batarang. This adds a little bit of realism, and if not realism, then just fills in that space or add a little bit of detail which subconsciously registers in your brain. I again use levels effect to darken the skeleton and match it to the black levels of my Batarang. I'll now turn my Batarang and my background texture into a 3D layer. I'll now create a separation between them in a Z space to create that parallax in the final composition. In a new composition, we add a Batarang layer as well as a text layer. I'll put the text layer above my background layer and change the track matte of background layer to alpha matte. I'll then animate the scale of text and background layer, add a camera lens blur to the layers and keyframe it according to my animation, a little bit of vignette, and we're basically done. I hope you found it useful. Like it while you're at it, and thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.